Well, hello, and welcome to a long overdue review video by your boy right here, True MasterSon. Right here, we are going to take a little in-depth look, or maybe a long in-depth look, at Biomutant. The game itself is pretty darn good. For coming from a smaller developer, the game itself, I think, was pretty effing awesome to play. A little repetitive, as most games are, but I don't even know where to start right now. It's been so long since I did a review video, but we're going to get into it. But first and foremost, if you're into anything gaming and or possibly fitness in the future, you should consider subscribing to the channel right effing now. Come by when I'm live streaming, bullshit with your boy, and let's talk. Let's talk gaming. Let's just talk, whatever. But back into Biomutant. Firstly, we're going to take a look at this map. Now, as for game maps, to look at this map right here, just to go around the outside to get a good look at it, it doesn't seem as if the map is that big. But let me tell you that each and every part of this map is jam-packed full of stuff to do. From side missions, main missions, little quests, secrets, you name it. The map, I said it the whole way through my playthrough, if you've checked it out at all, the map is super dense, as you can see. And this isn't even all of it. Like, it is super dense. And what I found in the game is every so many steps you run into an enemy to fight, which helps you level up faster, and it's pretty damn fun. As far as your missions, you have your main, your side, and your completed, okay? You start off with the main missions. If I'm not mistaken, there are 3 main quest lines, but 2 of them are sort of the same and end up being like linking up together. I don't want to spoil too much for you. As far as side missions, as you can see, I've already beat the main storyline, and I still have a good bit of side missions that I haven't completed, as well as side missions that I think I haven't even found yet. Because when I was getting to the point where I was sort of getting frustrated with playing the game, and it was just too much for me as I'm playing and streaming and playing and streaming, I was finding other characters that I should have found earlier. So my advice to you is, if you're going to play this game, make sure you search the map thoroughly before you make any big moves and head towards big places where your narrative continues on and you're heading towards endgame stuff. Let's talk a little bit about your character. Pretty cool little guy. Okay, now we're gonna look at just the character. Okay, you start off when you start the game, and you can like most RPGs, you can put so much into certain stats. Your armor, melee, range damage, or well, not range damage. Your armor, melee damage, intellect, how smart you are, agility, that sort of thing. And depending on where you put the most into the stats, it will adjust how your character looks. My guy, I've changed him once or twice throughout, but this is pretty much how I made him to start with. A more stockier body, which it may not look like, but generally a stockier body, slightly smaller head. If you make the character smarter, he will have a bigger head and a smaller body. If you make him stronger, he will have a smaller head, a bigger body, so on and so forth, etc., etc. I wasn't a big fan of it myself, but you yourself may be into it. I don't know. Okay, your outfits, as you can see, this is what I was rocking end game, okay? And we will go through this here. You have your torso, which is going to give you your upper body armor, which there is so much to choose from. Even at the end of the game, like this here, I found towards the end of the game, which I thought was pretty cool, this brown leather vest. Ronin shirt. The button-up leather shirt is the strongest thing I've found in my playthrough, which that's why that's what I was using, okay? That, and there was one other armor that was pretty damn strong. But tons and tons. I really like this Berserker shirt with the gauge on it and the tanks and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. Legs, same thing. Like, there is so much to choose from. Game's very anime-ish, I'll say, as you can tell by looking at it. Just massive amounts of clothing to choose from. On top of just your uppers and lowers, you do get hats and or helmets. Some of them will accept add-ons. Everything except I think backpacks in this game will accept an armor add-on, which is going to add a buff to a certain stat. Mainly your armor, but some of them come with extra, as you see over on the right hand side. This one has a little bit of health increase, a little bit of energy regen, but no key energy, which your key energy is what you use for special powers. We'll get into that. But on top of your regular armors, you have headwear, as you can see. You will have shoulder pads to choose from, okay? And a good portion of these all have one armor add-on. Right there's what I was rocking. You can see the little spikies added on to it, and that will add certain buffs, okay? Same with your left shoulder, self-explanatory. You get a shoulder pad and an add-on, which will add armor, key energy, energy regen, critical chance, what have you. You also get, on top of your regular stuff, backpacks. Difference, I don't think I've found one backpack in the game that had an add-on. But who knows, they may change that in future updates. But they will also give you certain buffs to certain stats for your character. I was using the heli pack because it gave you a little extra jump distance. And it was sort of pointless because you do get this guy, which we'll get into real well. Actually, no. Let's go back to gear and let's talk weaponry. Let's talk weaponry first. In the game, you'll be using melee weapons and ranged weapons, and depending on what class you pick at the beginning of the game, you get different buffs again towards how you use said weapons. I went with Deadeye, and then you're not stuck with that class though. I mean, you're stuck with that class, but you can change what weapons you use in the game. Like Deadeye, you came with a two-handed heavy slash weapon and one pistol. Me personally, I like playing games as more a rogue, sneakish type guy, so I switched over and upgraded my stats to be able to use a dual-wield pistol and a dual-wield melee weapon. But you can switch back and forth throughout the game. You are not locked into anything as far as what you actually do in the game. Your stats and your perks that you get from your class stay the same, but you can do whatever you want with your weapons. Now, these are all weapons that I either acquired through the game or crafted myself. That right there, the knock oomph, That big fiery blade is a legendary melee weapon that I found. You see it has 125 heat damage, 343 to 427 regular knock you out damage. And I found that 125 elemental damage is as strong as you're going to get in the game. Along with all of these weapons, whether it is melee or ranged, you can have elemental weapon or elemental damage attached to that weapon. You will find different weapons throughout the game that already have that buff included. You can upgrade that buff and add parts to them to add that to the weapon. For example, this little plunger right here, we'll go into crafting. And we'll go to our weapons so we can take a closer look at the weapons themselves. We'll take a look at said plunger to get started. Okay, let's go into modify. Now, in the game, depending on what style of weapon you're using, you get certain types of parts that you can change. This one you can change the handle. This is a one-handed slash weapon, and each part that you're going to craft with is going to add or take away different perks for the weapon. I spent a good bit of time crafting and messing around with it just because it's fun and I get into it. So you got your handle, you got your base type.
Something great in the making?
You've got 4 different base types with your melee weapons. You have your one-handed slash, which comes in a wide variety of different styles, different perks. This one has biohazard damage. This one has no damage, just a cool looking blade. Radioactive damage, cold damage, heat damage, and I think those are your 4: radioactive, biohazard, heat, and cold. Okay? You have two-handed slash, which you can only use one of those at a time, of course. Same deal. They all come with or without certain elemental damage, and there is such a wide variety, as you can see, of different style weapons that you can get. I saved that for a long time and never crafted it. Really neat, anime-ish, fantasy-ish style weapons. Then you have your two-handed crush, self-explanatory. Again, all with your same different... That's so funny. A safe lid. Gong ball. The top of a washer. A keyboard, which I thought was cool. And again, each one of them, if you look over add-ons, it says 2 down to 1. Some weapons have up to 4 add-ons you can put, but they are few far and in between. I think I may have found one in the game. Let me see if I have one. I do not think. Okay, so that's a little bit about your melee weapons. As I said, you have your one-handed slash, which you can dual wield once you upgrade that perk in your character class, or in your character's menu or whatever. You have two-handed slash, two-handed crush. Alright. Now we're going to go to ranged. And again, you have... Well, let's just go to craft new. You're going to have regular guns, which are pistols, considered pistols, which you can dual wield. Again, if you choose to upgrade that perk in your character's skill set, or if you start off picking a class where that is an option. Rifles, which are going to be one gun you shoot, 2 hands, self-explanatory. Slower fire speed, it's a rifle, self-explanatory. Shotgun, same thing, closer range, a lot more power to most of them, and they all have different perks, and all the weapons have different perks, as you could see. This shotgun here, you will fire saw blades, which rather than being a spread of shot, which usually comes out of a shotgun shell, it'll be saw blades that spin and go through your enemy and continue on to damage more enemies. Dynamo increased the damage of 10% for every 4 meters the projectile traveled. So what that means is the further the projectile travels, the stronger it will be when it hits the enemy. Saw blades again. Spawns a set of cluster bombs on impact that each inflict damage equal to the projectile upon detonation. So there are a bunch of cool little upgradey type perks that you get with these weapons depending on what you're going to pick, craft, and decide to upgrade. And then of course you have your automatic rifles, self-explanatory, they're going to be automatic rifles. Again, rapid fire, succeeding a perfect reload increases the rate of fire for the next magazine by 25%. The effect is reset when the magazine is emptied. So a perfect reload, which you'll see if and when you play the game, that your bullet count will pop up next to your guy when you reload, and you will see how many bullets you have. And when you get down to where you're almost at the end, if you do a perfect reload when you're just about out, it'll add this effect. So just to give you a quick look at the crafting aspect, we will craft this rifle. We're not going to craft it. We're going to go through the steps. You can put a grip on it, which I'll put a legendary grip. Let's see what we got here. A legendary or an extraordinary grip. We'll go back to that purple one right there. The Zorb. Boom. Then you have, now on pistols you can't put a stock. Rifles, shotguns, and automatic rifles you will have the option to put a stock. Okay, and there is a multitude of different parts that you can put on these guns. Some of them look cool, some of them don't. Some of them add excellent stats to the weapon. But just for the sake of showing you, we'll throw this on there. Then you have your top mod, which you'll be able to put on all guns, which is going to add to the accuracy of the weapon. It's not like you can lock in and pull the gun up and look through the scope, but it will add accuracy percentage to the gun. Just to be funny, we'll put the eye box ears, which is a TV antenna on top. Then you have a magazine for all your ranged weapons as well, which this one's off the side of it. But they will all add certain perks or take away perks and add, of course, your bullet count. That one right there is the one that I found that usually has the most added bullets, the large magazine. But you'll see that other ones may benefit you because they may add certain amounts of armor piercing or critical chance, and that may be what you're looking for. And you're not locked in. If you notice at the bottom, you need to have so much scrap in order to craft things. Down at the bottom of the screen, you have to have 5 of the gears, 12 wood, 9 plastic, 14 bearings, and 6 electronics just to put this on. As long as you have that, you can go back in and remodify weapons as much as you like, whether it's ranged or melee. So just for the sake of keeping this video moving, we're going to throw on the drum. Okay, and then from there, you're going to want to put a muzzle on, which now this is going to add damage, critical chance, that sort of thing. And accuracy, range, it will give or take away all of those. Alright, I'll keep it aside so you can see. And again, there is such an enormous amount of crafting materials that you find that are pretty cool. And I kept finding different unique ones throughout my whole playthrough, which was pretty cool. We'll throw that one on, the Spiral Groover. I think that actually came off of a legendary weapon that I broke down. But either way, there you go. I've got a weapon here that's going to give me 35% radio or 35 radioactive damage on top of 441 to 573 regular damage. The armor piercing is pretty high, fire rate isn't that great, accuracy is top notch, range is pretty high, critical chance 15% is pretty high. But we're not going to craft it because I'm done with this game, and this is just a review walking you through some of the awesomeness about the game. Yes, I would like to discard those changes. And again, it's the same thing with the melee weapons. You're gonna go into your craft. Go into your crafting. You can pick
the things you could build.
What type of weapons you want. Just for the sake of showing you, we'll go two-hand slash. Try to find something that's pretty kick-ass here. Or not. Let's go one-handed slash, because this is what I did throughout the game, so I have some better equipment. I think they throw better stuff at you towards what you actually decide you're using. 50 isn't bad on the heat. That isn't bad on the radioactive damage. Yeah, we'll do this one, because this is one that I've always wanted to craft but didn't. You got your base type, which will be this part of the blade, the actual blade itself. Then you pick your handle. Lump pin handle. That's actually off of that rolling pin that you seen when we first started the video. And just to show you, that's what we'll do. We're gonna throw something cool looking on there. Oh. It's pretty kick-ass like that. Now keep in mind, even though that handle is large, this is still only a one-handed slash. And then you're going to get an add-on, anywhere from 1 to 4, or none to 4 actually. And you'll see, sometimes they don't line up that great. Little voodoo doll, couple extra blades on some pipes, saw blades, pokies, projectiles, whatever, wrenches, blades, one big blade. Ooh, looks like some sort of piece of a saw, the whole way down to a single tiny little screw. If you can see that. And that's pretty much your crafting throughout the game. Even with your gear, you're going to get something you can craft, like your torso, okay? And we can modify it, and then we can put some add-ons. This one only has 2, so it's going to be a front and a back add-on. We'll put on a curve plate, which is going to add 51 to our armor rating, or tatter, which is a piece of shoot, take us up to 51, 52, 53 even, and then same thing on the back. And again, there is a little plug, a little electrical plug. There is a multitude of different little scrap pieces that you can add to each armor, if it's optional, that will increase your stats. Which I found the crafting in this game to be pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. Alright. Now we will talk a little bit about our Automaton, which I thought was a cool part of the game. This little guy, if you follow certain storylines, you will get different skins for him. You start off and he's this little guy, which is one of my favorites, a little grasshopper, little cat, little, I don't know, duck looking thing, little mouse, little lizard, little guy, another little lizard, another little mouse. Okay, now I don't have them all. I didn't complete all of the quests for this, but you can change his appearance if you follow certain quests. And it is very beneficial to follow the quest to update these perks that come with him. Health Injector, and you won't get this right off the bat. Early in the game, but not right off the bat. There will, you follow certain storylines, quests, you will be able to get a health injector, a flashlight, which I think comes with them right off the bat. It may. For when you're in dark underground areas. The glider, which comes in super handy. You double jump and then you can glide using the little guy there. Well, health injector, you see what that is. He gives you health. Flashlight, you can see there it lights up in dark areas. The glider, you can see there as well. The turret is what I really enjoyed. He will help you fight enemies. It isn't super powerful, but it does come in handy. And an Automaton boost, it will boost your damage output, which I also found helpful. Didn't use it a lot. I always depended on my weapons and my armor, but it does come in handy when you're fighting an enemy you're finding hard to beat. So that covers the Automaton, the outfits, and the weapons. As far as gameplay, a little bit about your character. As you go through one of the storylines, you're going to, actually through the whole game here, you're going to be able to make decisions that are going to either give you dark or light aura, like Infamous, Second Son, and a lot of other games that I've played give you this option. It's pretty cool. But the difference in this game is, depending on whether you go light or dark, just like Infamous and Second Son, you're going to get different abilities, special powers that you are capable of using in-game. Certain ones you have to have so much dark aura, certain ones you have to have so many light aura. And I went and played the game as a good guy for the most part, and did enough bad stuff in order to receive all the dark aura special abilities. So Blaze is going to be a dark aura. You're going to have so many dark aura in order to get Blaze. Blink, as you see there, which is similar to Blaze except no flame, you're going to have so much light aura. The Sizzle Ball, you'll have to have so much dark aura, and so on and so forth. This one you have to be a good guy, and you get some exploding ice that comes out of the ground, as well as your enemies that are in there will slip and slide around. Levitate, I didn't use much because of the glider, but it will lift you up off of the ground even if you aren't jumping off of something. Telekinesis, which I used and I thought was hilarious. You can pick up enemies and or rocks off the ground and smash them. Smash the enemies with said rocks. Key Spark, which was pretty cool. You just shock the shit out of your enemies. And Sky Spark, which is the darkest aura you need. I think you need 18 dark aura, if I remember correctly, in order to get this. So depending on how you play the game and how tied you are to your decisions will help decide what special abilities you can get in the game. And they all come with points attached to them that you have to get with experience as playing the game to get them. Pretty self-explanatory. In the game, you're going to have hot zones, cold zones, radiation zones, and biohazard zones. Early in the game, you can see right now, with my armor, and just because I upgraded the crap out of everything, without the armor I think I am still at 100% or as high as I can get. You can see I can't upgrade them anymore. It is very, very, very worth upgrading these as much as you can throughout your playthrough, because there are special items in these hot, cold, radiation, and biohazard zones that you're going to want to get your hands on. There are also a set of 4 missions that go along with these areas where you can get special suits if you don't want to take the time to upgrade these resistances. There are 4 suits in the game that will give you 100% resistance to each one. There's an anti-heat suit, an anti-cold suit, an anti-radiation suit, and an anti-biohazard suit, but you have to do some work in order to get them. Biogenetics, these are another special ability that you get throughout the game, and I can't remember for some reason. I'm drawing a blank, and my apologies on this one. I'm pretty sure that these are not tied to your aura. I think you get these just by having the right amount of points. And as you can see, I played the game, as I said, 147 good, 39 bad. And I only did the bad stuff in order to get the special abilities. Wung Fu. These are all things you're going to want to upgrade. Close combat. This is unarmed, which I barely used, where you fight without weapons. But you can play this whole game without using weapons. Okay. As you go throughout the game, there is a storyline where you have to unite all the tribes in the game. There are little guys that look sort of like you that are all part of different tribes. The world is in chaos, and you have to pull it back together or break it apart, depending on what you want to do. As you fight these tribes, you will be getting different tribe weapons. If my game, there we go. One tribe gives you a boast, and these are all like ninja, old school ninja style weapons. You've seen the variety of weapons that I had that were crafted by me. These weapons are old school Asian ninja style weapons. You can get a grappling hook. You can get a bow staff. You can get a nunchuck, throwing stars, a bow and arrow, and they're all worth getting because they're pretty fun to use and they're pretty cool storylines. Well, you're going to have to get them anyway to go through the story and beat the game. Perks. Now, I went with Deadeye as my class, which you get Crack Shot, Quick Load, Sniper, Gunslinger, Sharpshooter. And each class that you pick is going to have a certain set of skills that you get with it. Pretty self-explanatory per playing a good third-person perspective RPG. That being said, let's go take another quick look at our map. Now, when you start to play the game, you'll see that I have pretty much everything opened up because I've already beaten the game. But you're going to have a wide variety of terrains to travel through. You can see this is all water, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there are ways to travel through this water that you're going to have to upgrade, achieve, gain, what have you. You also have some areas that are... Where was the first dead zone? Right in here, if I'm not mistaken. There's going to be areas where you can't breathe, and you have to have special equipment to get around in them. Okay? There's going to be areas where you can get around, but up here you'll notice this isn't water. This is something you can't travel through, so you're going to have to get something to travel through it. And those things are right here. Up top, where you have liquids you can't traverse through, you're going to traverse over using this gall blimp. In areas where it's dead and there is no air, you're going to have to use this mech ton. In areas where it's water that you can travel through, you're going to use this jet ski. You're also going to have regular animals that you can use to just travel quicker throughout the regular land, like my buddy Snickles here. This is my favorite mount that I found, if he shows up. There he is. Coolest looking mount that I've found. As you can see, the game is super duper visually pleasing. It's definitely got a good storyline to it. It's something that I got into and I wasn't expecting myself to. And as I said, the map is super dense and there is a lot to do in the game. With that being said, I think I'm going to cut the review here. Again, I don't want to spoil too much. I want to let you experience the game for yourself. I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10. 6.5, maybe 7. It's definitely worth playing. It is a good game. And if you like a third-person perspective open world RPG and you don't have anything else to play, you should probably give it a try. It's interesting. The story is good. As far as being buggy, playing it on the regular PS4, I find that all the newer games that I've played, I get crashes every so often. I'll get an error, I'll be asked to report it or not report it to PlayStation, but that seems like that's been going on for the past year or two, more so than not, every so often. I find myself, if you're playing on a PS4 Pro or an old PS4 and it's happening a lot, stop your game once in a while, restart the PlayStation, and you don't have as many problems. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, me walking you through some of the features of the game. I definitely recommend playing it. It is fun, but be prepared because the map is dense. The map is not huge, but there is a lot inside of that smaller map to do. So, check it out, play it, and until the next time, my people, my family, my folks, my friends, over and out.